It's recording.
Is the red button on?
Yes, the red button is on.
Sweet.
Zoom in on his butt. You weren't in frame.
I know, but you're not going to get my
Damn
butt
it.
in frame, unfortunately. Is this thing on? Thing is actually on.
That'd be a great intro.
It's alright.
Just me looking at your butt.
You could look at my butt all day.
Welcome to the Boogie Boys.
Welcome to the Boogie Bomb Boys. Just kidding. That's a separate thing, if you know what I'm doing.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
5 subscriber special.
That was a great intro.
That's a great intro.
Alright, brother, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually, on this wonderful Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning.
It do be Tuesday morning because, unfortunately, we were going to start on the Monday morning, and then we lost all footage.
A lot of technical difficulties.
We're not talking about that.
I blame the cameraman.
I blame the cameraman, too.
I also blame everyone.
Fuck them.
We're not at fault.
Not at fault at
Never
all.
us.
We had great content for you.
Fantastic.
It was great discussion. It was great topics. Great questions. It was great back and forth.
It was awesome.
And then we lost it.
And then the cameraman shit the bed.
Shit the bed. We lost it all.
Covered in shit.
Absolutely. But welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Say It With Your Chest.
Oh my God, we said it at the same time.
Welcome to our podcast, everyone, where we will be experimenting and finagling and doing all types of sorts of things on this
What do you mean?
podcast. We'll
What do
be
you mean
experimenting.
experimenting?
You don't want to experiment with me?
No, we can.
We could do that.
Okay, perfect.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Please.
It's not a thing. Don't do that.
Not yet.
Don't look us up yet. Yeah.
Yet.
Our handles, if you even care to look at us or care about us
Mhm.
at all. Podcast name. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Everything where Say With Your Chest is available.
Agreed.
Agreed?
Agreed.
All right, let's get going. I think we should honestly start with the Monday night game, to be honest. I think we should work backwards. We want to start with the
We can
Monday
work
night game?
backwards.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's fresh in our brain. Buffalo Bills.
I'll see why not. Ugh.
Buffalo Bills. The third New York team. The forgotten child.
The only
Of
real
New
New
York.
York team.
The only real New York team, that's true. Because we got these fake-ass global
All right,
superstars
all
and
right.
the Jets and Giants.
All
that
right, all right. We don't gotta go that far.
stink.
We don't gotta talk shit about Tommy DeVito yet.
No, we don't. Not Danny DeVito.
No.
Not to be confused
Not
with the
that
world-renowned
he's delivered
actor
that.
of Danny DeVito.
No.
No.
Not at all.
But the Bills, I mean, what's going on with the Bills right now?
The Bills are very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they look like a top 5 team in the league, and other times they just,
Shit the bed.
don't. They look horrible sometimes.
They've been garbage the last, 4
And,
weeks.
I'm not even saying that to shit on the Broncos, because the Broncos really haven't been playing that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Russell Wilson having a very, very good comeback year. But the defense has not been playing well. But, man, Josh Allen just looks like shit. The first pick wasn't his fault.
No.
Gabe Davis was wide open,
Yep.
and he dropped the ball.
I agree.
But the other two were horrible.
Would you believe me if I told you that the Broncos are on a 3-game win streak right now?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
I can see it.
I don't even believe that coming out of my own mouth.
Well, and they beat the Chiefs.
They did beat the Chiefs.
Well, they beat Josh Allen and Mahomes, who are both arguable top. Mahomes is one.
Mahomes at least, because
Josh Allen, arguably top 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
And they both.
he was to start the season. I don't know what happened. He just absolutely lost it.
I saw something that Josh Allen plays to his competition, and ever since I saw that, it's been so unbelievably true.
It is. I think that the defenses have began to figure him out a little bit. I think that the defense is not doing the offense much favors with. I mean, they've been injury.
But a decent
after
amount of
injury.
his picks, too, have been very catchable.
He's been throwing
footballs.
interceptions left and right. I can't.
But
I'm not gonna
A
fault.
decent amount of them have been catchable footballs for the
Yeah,
offense.
absolutely.
But
I mean, you have your world-renowned wide receiver
it
one.
was the same thing as Dak last year. Dak threw a lot of catchable footballs that were just tipped up in the air and picked off.
Yeah.
But I'm a Giants fan, so
But he
fuck
threw
Dak.
too many.
Don't care.
He threw. He led the league in interceptions. That's on him.
Yeah. I'm not defending Dak. I'm a Giants fan. I hate him.
Absolutely. No,
I hate
fuck
him.
the Cowboys.
I hate Dak.
Yeah.
Well, just because he wears the star.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
that's like my job as a Giants fan.
Absolutely.
Just like how I hate everyone.
I mean, everybody I feel like should have a certain hate for the Cowboys, and then if you're a Giants, Eagles, and Commanders fan, you should just hate them
God, don't even get me
like
started on the
100
Eagles.
times
I hate
more.
the Eagles too. But like I said,
Giants fan. Yeah.
I respect their game. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan.
Oh,
And
100%.
I would probably love Jalen Hurts a lot more if he didn't play in Philadelphia.
Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. I love them both. They were on bye this week though, so unfortunately we'll talk about them a little later in the week
No.
because they got a big matchup coming up.
You will. I'll sit here.
I'll
and
talk
say
about them. They got a huge matchup coming up next Monday night against the Chiefs.
Super Bowl rematch.
But
Hopefully Bradbury knows how to fucking play defense.
not hold anybody.
That was an absolute hold. I don't care what anyone says.
Damn. Controversy.
Go ahead.
You heard it here first. So we got. I mean, the Bills. They've lost. They've lost now 2 in a row to Cincy and now Denver. They played rough against the Bucks. They lost to the Patriots, a division rival that is 2-8 right now. Pretty much the worst record behind like Carolina and like Chicago. I mean, they're just terrible.
Tied with the Giants too.
And the Giants, they're at the bottom of the barrel. And Josh Allen's not playing great. I mean, Diggs has been okay, but Gabe Davis has disappeared lately. Dalton Kincaid, honestly, has been a godsend for them, the rookie tight end that they took.
He's a stud.
He's a stud. Him and Laporta.
And I was a big Dawson Knox fan too, but Kincaid is significant.
Dawson Knox who?
Kincaid is significant.
Dalton Kincaid is tight end 1.
He's very good. He's a very good football player.
He was definitely worth the pick. Him and Laporta, I could talk about those two all day. They have been insane. I love Laporta so much. I just want to have a separate conversation just about him in general. He's so good.
Subscribe to the Patreon where John rants 45 minutes about how handsome Sam Laporta is.
Where I talk about my love for Sam Laporta. The GOAT. Sam Laporte GOAT. And Denver on the other side. 3-game win streak. Russell Wilson has been playing very well.
He has been.
And the receivers have been stepping up. I know that there was that huge, the trade talks about shipping off Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, both their star wide receivers.
Jeudy, I don't like Jeudy.
No one really does.
I don't.
As Steve Smith said, just like
wide
receiver 3 on any
It's actually
team.
so funny you bring that up because I was saying the same thing about Jeudy like before Steve Smith said it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always thought Jerry Jeudy was just like such a average receiver.
Yep.
Like in college, I thought he was really good, but then he got to the NFL and he was just like,
on Bama,
he's a pretty good route runner, but he just doesn't really do anything like that, excels above everyone else.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. On Bama, he was great, a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, but then he gets to the league and hasn't really had the quarterback situation to help him. But then he gets Russell Wilson, and it's been even worse. What'd you say?
I mean, Cortland Sutton
has. It looked like last
that
year.
That touchdown he caught yesterday was
insane.
Very good.
It was insane.
It was a very smart and
very, very aware. Know where you are on the field. Keep your toes in.
It was a great catch.
Great
it was
catch.
A great play by Wilson too.
Great throw by him.
Very good
to put it in range of his receiver.
I was really hoping they won the game after that play. They deserved it.
Yeah, they did. I mean,
was that on 4th down or was that on 3rd down?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It might have been on 4th.
But then, did they really deserve to win that off of what they blew their last time out late in the game? They take the knee and then they run off the field quickly to get the kicker on.
I mean, it's the Bills' fault.
And then he whiffs. It is the Bills' fault.
It's the Bills' fault. So
12 men on the field. What are we doing?
They do deserve to win because the Bills had.
I guess just off of that sheer.
I mean, the game was weird.
Yeah.
To say the least, but
it was a strange game. It was a strange score throughout the game. There was missed extra points early in the game. The Bills had to go for 2 early to try to tie it up. Diggs was kind of a no-show because Surtain was locking him down last night.
Surtain's been playing very
well. And I'm glad the footage isn't out from yesterday because I was going off about Stephon Diggs. I was like, he's going to have a night. Monday Night Massacre, Stephon Diggs coming at you.
No, I knew that was a bit of a stretch because of Surtain.
But he had a dud.
Well, Josh Allen...
He didn't even have a good game.
Josh Allen just hasn't been what he should be.
No, he hasn't been. But Diggs was not... Diggs really couldn't do much yesterday either. I mean, he had 3 catches for 30-something yards. It really wasn't anything special. 3 for 34 last night.
Consistent?
I think that's like worst game of the year.
Yeah. It's like 11.5 a catch.
It's all right.
11.5 a catch almost.
Surtain is top 3 cornerback in the league, so it's all
Oh,
right.
he's been one.
One?
I think so.
Are we going to debate this right now?
Who do you think's better?
Sauce.
No.
I'll live with that. I'll live with Sauce at 1. I'll fight that.
Well,
You can have Surtain at 2.
Sauce holds a lot. He does. Have you watched?
All right, we'll see. All right. Okay, we'll see. Listen. Okay, so Sauce is playing Diggs.
There's been a
Next
lot
week- this
of holding
week.
calls Sauce has gotten away with.
Sauce is playing Diggs this week, and then he gets Tyreek the following week. And Surtain has already played both of them.
I'll definitely Sauce is definitely against way better competition than Surtain is.
Sauce has been playing against better competition.
Yeah, way.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%, because the Jets have been playing.
Surtain has to guard Adams twice a year and Keenan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no one on the Chiefs that he's gonna guard.
No, Sauce has to guard Tyreek Hill, Diggs. He played the Chiefs, and so he was playing against either Rashee Rice or Travis Kelce.
Okay, but he's not guarding Travis Kelce.
Double coverage on him.
I mean, yeah, but that's
He didn't have a great night when they played.
I mean, that would be pretty weird to put your best DB on a tight end.
That's your best weapon.
What?
It was your best
I
weapon.
know he's the best weapon, but the speed difference is kind of.
Well, gotta lock him down. Need your best guy. I'm trying to think of who else they played. I know they played some top tier quarterbacks. I know they just played the Chargers.
The Broncos?
No, the Jets. They just played the Chargers. But it's Surtain is good. He's mostly staying on your primary. Sauce has DJ Reed there, who also is a high upper echelon cornerback. Not as high as Sauce would, but they switch off. So DJ is also playing against your primary. So I can't really argue that Sauce is locking down the 1 because he's not always playing the 1.
Yeah. It was the same thing. They did a breakdown of Deontay Banks. It's when he guarded these top receivers, these are his stats. I was well, he also hovers all the time.
When Sauce does play the 1, it's great numbers.
This is before the Jets game, before he gave up 9 and 100 to Garrett Wilson, by the way. Deontay Banks.
Yeah, he did give up 100 yards to him in that slappy
I was there.
mess
I
of a
know,
game.
John. Thanks.
Yeah, you got to watch it front row.
Die.
All right, enough with the.
Graham Gano missed 2 extra points.
Oh, I bet you just love that.
I was having fun.
I bet you just love that.
Shout out my boy Finn, fucking watching me cry right next to him.
Shout out to Finn. Enough with the Bills. Back to Sunday, where we had a plethora of phenomenal games. Really, it was a lot of. It was a lot. There was 5. If I got this stat correct, there was 5. At the buzzer, fourth quarter, go ahead win, to win the game.
Know that.
There was the Houston game, field goal to win the game.
Love Houston.
Cardinals beating the Falcons was a field goal. The Browns against the Ravens was a field goal to win the game. The Seahawks to beat the Commanders was a field goal game. And then I guess you could even say yesterday, but if I'm remembering correctly, there was another game, the Lions game. Lions tied up at 38, and Riley Patterson comes out and nails a 30-something yarder, 40-yarder, and wins the game off the field goal against the Chargers. So there was a lot of close games. It was a lot of really good games. I mean, we could talk about just C.J. Stroud to start.
We can talk about C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. I mean, you want to start with that, man? Because I don't.
I mean, why don't you?
Oh,
Panthers fan.
Panthers fan over here, and I don't want to talk. I mean, if I start going now, you're not going to stop me just ranting about upper management and how we took Bryce Young.
What is there to say about Stroud that has
over the guy who's in the MVP conversation right now, in C.J. Stroud?
I was going to say, what else could you say about C.J. Stroud besides him taking Houston's offense, who, without C.J. Stroud, would be a bottom 3 team in the league.
Yeah, probably. Just like last year.
It's insane what he's doing to the city. Anyway, especially to Texan fans all over. He's become an icon.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
He is second in the league in passing yards.
And he doesn't have that many turnovers either.
He's got 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
Two picks.
2 picks.
I think he's got a fumble
He fumbled last week.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he fumbled against the Bengals.
I think he fumbled twice.
I think he fumbled on Sunday.
I think he fumbled twice Sunday.
Anywho, he's only thrown 2 picks through the air. Mahomes and Hurts have 16 interceptions combined.
Josh Allen has 13 himself.
Josh Allen is a dumb amount. And Lamar, who's been in the favorite right now, he's got 5 interceptions.
Really? Lamar's the favorite to win MVP?
He was, because the Ravens have been dominating. But
yeah, but that's not
it took a
really
hit.
Him.
It took a hit.
Like
It's a quarterback
he's
award.
Been playing, it is a quarterback
Who else is
award.
going to get that on the Ravens, especially?
I'm not saying that.
The only other non-quarterback who's even like an MVP favorite, I guess, not a favorite, but in the conversation is C-Mac. He's the only one that has odds.
I would take.
For it.
I would definitely.
Unless because Tyreek Hill is going to probably
Lamar
win.
to win an MVP. I don't know. In my opinion, Lamar hasn't really been doing that well.
I agree with you. He hasn't. I mean, he's not been the best, but the whole team in general has just been insane.
Their defense has.
Yeah, their defense and special teams and the run game has been crazy.
I know.
But he's the quarterback, so of course he's going to get the recognition for it. Tua was the favorite, but he's been on bye and he lost to the Chiefs, so Mahomes took that. But like I said, C.J. Stroud is second in passing yards right now, and I'm pretty sure he's tied for second with touchdowns. You want to know who's actually leading the league in touchdowns and passing yards right now?
Was it Tua?
It was Tua.
It was Tua.
He's third.
What team? What division? I want to guess.
Well, he's in the NFC.
Oh, that's the conference.
Yeah, I'm not giving you the division.
It's not Dak, is it?
Same division.
Is it Hurts? Oh, Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
Oh, wow.
If you would have told me...
I'm actually not surprised about that at all.
Well, as of right now, but if you would have told me this back in August, that Sam Howell, going into Week 11, would be leading the league in passing yards and touchdown passes.
He's really good.
He's got 2,700 passing yards and 17 touchdowns.
How many picks does he have?
I actually don't know that off the top of my head, but probably a decent amount.
Let's say
because the Commanders are 4-6.
That's not his fault.
Here's the difference between him and C.J. Stroud. Okay, I guess we're back now after multiple technical difficulties again. Like I said, we're experimenting, so we're back again.
Sexually.
That too. But that's on Patreon. Hashtag the Boogie Bomb Boys. That'll be coming out at a later date.
At a later date, like tomorrow.
All right. So before we were so rudely interrupted by technical difficulties, I think we were talking about MVPs, the MVP race.
C.J.
Stroud and how good he is. We were talking about Sam Howell, C.J. Stroud, Hurts, Mahomes. Mahomes and Hurts suck. They throw picks. Lamar stinks. I don't know how he's even there because the Ravens are very good.
I don't know how Lamar is an MVP candidate.
Mm-hmm.
He has not been. He's been playing well. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's not playing well, but he's not playing like an MVP candidate.
But the team is built for Super Bowl caliber, but the quarterback should not be MVP.
That
favorite.
Lamar should not be MVP.
But the team is definitely built.
The team is definitely
it's like the Niners. Like the Niners are built to go to the Super Bowl.
But Brock Purdy is not.
Brock Purdy is not an MVP.
Is barely a middle.
Which means CMC is probably not going to win the MVP either. But it is a strong candidate for Offensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
100%. Along with Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown.
Right.
And another player that I want to add in there, and we'll see if you agree with me, Keenan Allen. I think should be getting Offensive Player of the Year recognition. He is currently second in yards and touchdowns, only behind Tyreek Hill.
I mean, that's tough.
I get the other three teams.
Definitely finish. I can see him finishing top 5.
The other 3 teams are doing much better as a whole.
Because Offensive Player of the Year is like the skill position MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so but then he's got to compete with Tyreek.
A.J. Brown and McCaffrey.
A.J. Brown, McCaffrey. I would even say Jamar Chase.
Not above Keenan Allen. He hasn't done enough.
Probably will.
He would have to go nuclear in the next 7 weeks, absolutely stupid. Unless he starts dropping 200 yards a game and multiple touchdowns kind of thing, which Keenan has done already.
I did, so.
You did?
Yeah.
I mean, there would be more of an argument for CeeDee Lamb even over Jamar Chase.
Oh, I completely forgot about CeeDee Lamb, yeah.
Even though because the last 3 weeks have been
Lamb, then Keenan,
even more nuclear. But I would say that, yeah, because CeeDee Lamb over the last 3 weeks has been absolutely stupid. Doesn't make any sense. Like 11, 12 catches, over 150 yards each, multiple
Touchdown or two.
touchdowns. But Keenan Allen has been doing that all season long. So I would like to put him in the conversation. It's gonna be hard against Tyreek. It's gonna be hard to do anything. It's gonna be hard for someone else other than Tyreek to win it, especially if he passes 2K.
Yeah. I mean McCaffrey, but
McCaffrey would probably be the only one, unless like AJ Brown just starts
Tyreek
scoring
Hill's
touchdowns
already
like crazy.
there's what 8 games left.
Yeah.
Tyreek has 8 games to hit 2K. He's at just over 1,000. He's almost at 1,100.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 30 yards away from 1,100. So I don't know. He's definitely gonna need to drop like a 200-yard game here or there.
Tyreek?
Yeah.
Definitely. I think he's got one coming. He's got a pretty tough schedule coming up though. I know he's
playing Washington soon. That would be the game to do it.
Yeah. I forget who they play this week, but
Raiders.
they do have the Raiders.
I don't know
this
why
week.
I remember that, but
They do have the Raiders this week
And
at
they have
home.
The Jets, and then they have the Commanders.
The Dolphins have been doing much better at home. Tyreek in general has been doing much better at home. Except for the 1 week he did good on the road was he played the Chargers week 1, went nuclear.
He always destroys the Chargers.
He won 11 catches for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns
Mm-hmm.
on the road week 1. But then he was at New England with 15 points. Comes back home against Denver, 9 for 157 and 1. At Buffalo, 3 for 58. Pretty much his worst game of the year that he's had so far was that game. Then he's home against the Giants, 9 for 181 and 1. Carolina at home, 6 for 163 and 1. Granted, these are against like trash defenses as a whole. Denver, New York, Carolina. Then at Philly, had a pretty good game on the road, 11 for 88 and 1. Not bad. And then home for New England, 8 for 112 and 1. Then in Germany on a neutral field, 8 for 62. The Dolphins just really didn't do well offensively that game.
Did you see the pass to or through where he just threw it like a lob straight up in the air like 10 yards and no one was near him?
Yep. That be Tua. Fucking up sometimes.
Funny. I was laughing hysterically when I saw that.
He was the MVP favorite. But he's now on bye and he lost to the Chiefs already. I think Tua's a fraud. I don't know. A lot of people are just saying the Dolphins are a fraud in general this season because they're just beating up on the bad teams and losing to all the good teams, which just really just meet.
I mean, that's kind of what like a good team's supposed to do, though. Like a middle of the road team.
Yeah, but that's exactly they're cementing themselves as a certified middle of the pack team because they're whooping on the bad teams. You know, like it's not like it's close between the bad teams. They can't beat any of the good teams. But they're not beating like the upper echelon teams. So they're good enough for like a 6 or 7 seed in the playoffs.
They're not a contending team.
Not for a Super Bowl. No.
Well, that's what contending means.
Not for a Super Bowl. I'm leaving. Not for a Super Bowl, but yeah, definitely good enough. They're good enough to make the playoffs because they're absolutely killing the bad teams. It's not even a joke. Like, it's such a joke. Like, 70 points on the Dolphins. They beat the Giants by like 3 scores. They beat the Panthers by 3 scores.
Beat the Giants
they beat They beat New England. They swept New England. They beat the Chargers on the road. You know, and then when they play Buffalo in Week 18, I mean, they probably will win that game at home because Buffalo has just been bad. They were great when they played them, but not anymore.
I don't know, dude. I still don't know how I feel about Buffalo. So, like, I can't even like have an opinion about Buffalo because I think they're just way too inconsistent for that. Or Josh Allen specifically, because I love Josh Allen. And I think Josh Allen is a great quarterback most of the time. But right now, he's terrible.
I agree. The Dolphins they're at home against the Raiders, at the Jets, and at Washington. That's their next 3 matchups. So I would say at home against Raiders, I think the Dolphins get a bounce back and they dominate the Raiders, especially because the Raiders are coming off a 2-game win streak. Then they're going to come back to reality a little bit and eat it from the Dolphins this week. Then at the Jets, that might be a little tougher. It's that Black Friday game right after Thanksgiving. That middle of the day on the Friday game.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Oh, I guess we're getting a Friday game, Black Friday game. That's just like what the NFL decided before the season. At the Jets, so they're playing in MetLife, and a lot of the MetLife games have been low scoring.
Because that turf's terrible.
Turf's terrible, and the Jets' defense has just been annoying to play against because they're really good, unfortunately. So he might not have a great game against that, but then at Washington,
he could explode.
I think that's a high-scoring game. Should be. I think he'll explode. Then he's home for Tennessee. Should explode against a weak secondary. Then he's home for the Jets. depending on how the first game goes. We'll know more about that game. Then he's home for Dallas. See, I don't know about that. I think that
I mean, Diggs isn't there, so
I think
but
he'll be
Deron
okay.
Bland. Speaking of, Deron Bland is the most
to him.
underrated defensive back in the
Talk
league.
to him. Tell him about Deron Bland.
I feel like arguably Deron Bland should be the DB1 on that team because Bland is an exceptional.
He's doing phenomenal in the absence of Trayvon
But he
Diggs.
was good last year too.
Yeah.
The only thing is, like, I think Trayvon Diggs is obviously a great cornerback, but he gets so much more recognition because he picks the ball up all the time because he used to play receiver.
Yeah.
Deron Bland is a very, very top tier, kind of DB.
I totally agree.
Him and Trayvon Diggs are like. When Diggs is healthy, like those, like, oh my God, their defense is just so much better when Diggs is playing. It's still really good.
Yeah.
But Deron Bland needs his flowers because I don't hear enough people talk about how good Deron Bland is, and I'm a Giants fan, and I fucking hate Deron Bland.
There was a post I remember seeing about Deron Bland, and he was I don't know if he's leading the league in interceptions right now.
I don't know what he's doing, but
I remember seeing a stat saying that he's leading with like 10 interceptions like since last year or something up to like this week or whatever it was. I forgot what the stat was, but he's doing very well. Lockdown corners, Darren Bland got a 33.8 grade,
especially Micah Parsons.
Pro Football Focus.
Like, dude, both of them, and then Micah Parsons just absolutely obliterating.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks he's the second best Micah in his division, though. Shout out Micah McFadden. He's him.
Micah McFadden. Shout out to the kid. Shout out to the kid.
He's him.
He's him.
Micah McFadden is sincerely underrated. Like, he is. I'm being serious about that. Like, obviously, I'm not serious about him being better than Micah Parsons, but like, he's a very good linebacker. Him and Bobby have been playing.
No, you should. You should say Micah McFadden's better for the views.
Micah McFadden shits on Micah Parsons.
Micah McFadden is the best Micah in the league.
Fuck.
Damn. All right, enough about Giants. CJ Stroud, they won. They beat up on the Bengals a little bit. They had to bring the Bengals back to reality a little bit. CJ Stroud came out and showed out. 23 of 39, 356, and 2 touchdowns.
Looking like, when was the last time someone won Offensive Rookie of the Year and MVP? Has that ever been done before?
Probably been a long time. I can't think in recent history.
I can't remember.
Definitely not in the last 20 years.
I would assume it's happened.
Unless we're missing a big name, but I don't think.
No, it's 100% a big name.
Just not recent.
Just nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
They
went into Cincinnati. Bengals are a 4-game win streak, and Burrow threw 2 interceptions late in the game that really lost them the game. And the Texans won on a game-winning field goal. The other rookie sensation. Burrow? No, Burrow's healthy. It's T. Higgins that's the one that's been hurt.
I don't like
and a little inconsistent and not having a great season.
I don't like
unfortunately. Would you like to harp on that a little bit more?
Not really. I just think T. Higgins is just now adapting into a really big boomer bust.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's either going to have 80-plus yards and a touchdown, or he's going to have a reception for 6 yards, if that.
Yeah.
I know he's not healthy, but...
Yeah, I mean, if he plays yesterday, I mean, you could definitely say that the Bengals probably win that game. They're starting to lock up
his game a lot more because last year, the last couple of years, the Bengals were so good because they always had T. Higgins as a red zone threat.
Mm-hmm. Scoring a lot of touchdowns.
And now that they're kind of taking him away, like, they're not running a lot of fade balls, and if they do, it's double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
So
the highlight
T. Higgins, basically as soon as they get within the 25. Like, everyone's just going to cover T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Jamar Chase is scoring. That's why Boyd's scoring. That's why Burrow's getting the ball to a lot.
Well, I think that's also why
Mixon.
Even though T. Higgins might not be doing well, he is a reason why they are winning.
He's a huge reason why the Bengals are winning.
I mean, it's 1A, 1B. I mean, T. Higgins could be a good receiver on any other team.
He could definitely be a 1.
He's there with, like, Devonta.
He could be a 1 on majority of teams in the league.
He's up there with, like, Devonta Smith. You know, it's like the 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
with A.J.
I
Brown
mean,
and
I don't
Devonta
know
Smith.
about 1A, 1B anymore because A.J. Brown just kind of.
Well, he's just well. I mean, listen, I've been an A.J. Brown fan since he was coming out of Ole Miss
I
and
used to be
on
an A.J. Brown
Tennessee. I mean, he's been this good for years.
I used to be a really big.
You
A.J.
know,
Brown
everyone's
fan.
hopping on the hype train now.
I got it. Sorry.
You know, even last year when he first went to the Eagles, no one was talking about him as a top 10 receiver at all. And now he even started the season not great, like the first 2 games. And then him and Jalen Hurts had that little scuffle.
I don't like the jersey he wears.
What, 11?
No.
Or Eagles?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like it. I
Well,
was a
Giants
huge
and
A.J.
Eagles
Brown fan
haven't.
when he was on the Titans, and now
Giants and Eagles have not played
and now
yet.
he torches my team for 190 and 3 touchdowns twice a year. So I'm not.
Either him or Devonta Smith. Or
Boston Scott.
Dallas Goedert. Oh, no, Boston
Giants
Scott.
part-time franchise owner.
Absolute
Boston
legend
Scott.
when he's playing the Giants.
Boston Scott
Absolute
turns
legend.
into prime Barry Sanders when he plays.
When he plays the Giants, absolutely. Like watching him, I remember last year. I think it was around Christmas time when they played in MetLife.
Remind me about it.
I'm reminding
please.
you right now. And Boston Scott was running all over that defense, just cooking them up left and right. I mean, it was just glorious to see. And you knew it was going to happen too. It's so funny that no one in the world, honestly, even knows who Boston Scott probably is anymore. Because everyone just loves the Eagles. They know Jalen Hurts. They know DeAndre Swift is going to run the ball, right? And they don't even know Boston Scott that much. But I swear to God, every single time they play the Giants, Boston Scott name comes up every time because they know he's a guaranteed touchdown against New York.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
I've been watching football for a very long time. I am very aware of
I just
that.
want to let the people at home know who Boston Scott is the GOAT against New York.
The Panthers took Bryce Young.
The Giants signed Daniel Jones to a lot of money. And they're going to have to cut him because he sucks. And they're going to be in a big hole.
Yeah, and you know what else they did? They didn't trade Saquon at the deadline, which was stupid because he's not going to resign.
Yeah, and the Giants also got beat by the Cowboys.
A lot. 89-17.
89-17 out of the 2 games they've played together so far this year. Dak Prescott.
That's why I'm not mad.
Yo,
I'm a Cowboys defense owner.
Me too. Absolutely.
Hooray, my team's poverty. And
hooray.
My team's poverty unless Tom Brady's playing them.
Hooray for Cowboys defense, baby. Let's go.
My team will always be poverty unless...
Get it.
No, we need Tom Brady to come out of retirement.
You think that would help?
It would help the Giants win.
Who's he throwing to?
Don't have to. Throw it to anybody. He just needs to be there.
He just needs to be there. Okay. So Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, I mean, they had a field day.
Shut up.
They had a field day on Sunday. They did.
I know, okay? I know.
CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, one of the best 3-game stretches I really have ever seen. And, Dak Prescott is now damn near leading the league in passing yards, touchdowns, CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb, cool first down celebration.
CeeDee Lamb, what has he got? 500 yards receiving in the last 3 games? Something like that, some crazy number like that.
Yeah.
The only player with multiple 3 games in a row, 3-game stretch, 10+ catches, 150 yards receiving, and a touchdown.
Yeah, don't forget the balls.
And the balls?
Yeah, don't forget the balls.
Oh yeah, don't forget the final. Yeah, don't worry. I'll don't make sure that's sloppy. Get sloppy, yeah.
He talking about the stupid stars.
I know nobody wants to talk about him, but I feel like we have to bring them up, because they're America's team.
To talk about the Cowboys.
I mean, it's your show. Do you not want to be here and talk about the Giants and the Cowboys?
I don't want to talk about the Giants either. What is there to talk about?
That's why we're going to talk about the better team. Dak Prescott, 404 yards passing, 4 touchdowns through the air. He did throw a pick, trash bag. He also ran one in.
That's awesome.
5 total touchdowns for the man.
So cool.
Jesus Christ.
Makes me really excited.
CeeDee Lamb.
No, my mic's definitely.
Sedarius Lamb. The last 3 games he's played off the bye.
There we go.
Home for the Rams, 12 for 158 and 2. At Philly, 11 for 191. Didn't score. And those were some garbage time throws, I'm not going to lie, because the Cowboys had missed opportunities in the red zone, didn't score. And the Eagles just kept giving the ball back, and the Cowboys just, kept sucking. But, whatever. He got the yards. He almost had 200 yards at the end of that game. And then on Sunday against the Giants, 11 for 151 and 2 because he ran one in. That's when you know that the Giants are not even playing defense anymore if they're letting the receivers run in the ball.
Thanks.
All right, we won't harp on the Giants anymore.
Thanks.
We'll back off. But listen, the Eagles, the Giants and Commanders are pretty much just out of the race because the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Eagles and the Cowboys are the only two competing for that division. They get to play again in Dallas.
Giants finna win out, trust.
And even if they win out,
trust.
Even if they win out, what does that get in them?
Wild card.
In the NFC, I guess. What do they got? Eight losses?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dog. Sorry, it's not happening.
You don't know that.
It's just not happening.
You just don't know that.
Are you guys playing the Commanders this week?
Mm-hmm.
You do have a chance to sweep the Commanders.
That'd be cool.
You do have a chance to sweep the Commanders, but Dallas is at home against Philly in a couple weeks. What's going on?
Are we just gonna record right through it?
Yeah, we're continuing.
All right, sounds good. Just making sure. What other games you got on here? Talk about Stroud. Fraudulent Steelers.
Fraudulent Steelers. Yeah, the trash bags.
The Pittsburgh Mike Tomlins, if you will.
Sorry, had to text our fucking producers.
Thank you.
Because they're being annoying. The Steelers and the Packers game. We're going to be quick and short about them because I really don't want to talk about them at all. But, let me just lay out a few topics here. Mike Tomlin.
GOAT.
The GOAT.
One of them.
Just has to be, the greatest coach of all time.
He's
at this
definitely
point.
up there.
Doesn't have a losing record ever. Was close last year to losing that
and
record.
He's doing this with Kenny Pickett.
With Kenny Pickett and what we want to call the Matt Canada offense, and they're 6-3. And 6-3? How? It was putrid, that game. The running game was great. Najee and Jalen Warren have been good the last couple weeks, sure. Deontay Johnson has been a godsend coming back from IR. There's no Pat Freiermuth.
Johnson's always been good.
Pickens is not getting the ball anymore. Pickett does not look like an NFL quarterback.
No.
The defense has been the reason they've been in games because T.J. Watt will always be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year. Every single year.
Averaging 48 sacks a game.
And the defense did not play well this weekend against the Packers, and yet they still won. If they make playoffs, I don't even know what to say anymore, how they're even winning games.
Mike Tomlin has to get his gold jacket before he even retires.
Absolutely.
If they make the playoffs.
They should have a fucking ceremony next week for him.
He should get a statue. I'm being so serious about that. They should put a statue of him outside of
100%. When he's done, absolutely. He should. He has a Super Bowl, and he's never had a losing season. How long has he been a coach now?
Especially with
14
some of the
years.
He's had too.
14 years or something like that. He's never had a losing record.
He's making Kenny Pickett a winning quarterback.
Put Kenny Pickett on any other team, it's a wrap. He's done.
Absolutely.
He's done. He's out of the league. He's lost a job completely.
He's stealing two-glove Teddy's flow, dude.
They beat the Ravens due to a lot of drop passes by the Ravens, and it was the Ravens' fault, but the Steelers barely won. They won on blown coverage to a George Pickens touchdown. Fine, whatever. They win week 2 against the Browns. They have 2 division wins already. They won in week 2 against the Browns. Early in the season, Nick Chubb had that awful, gruesome leg injury. He's done for the season. And the defense played great in that game because they scored a touchdown. Okay, sure. But then the rest of these games have just been shoddy.
It's all over the place, really.
They go to LA, they beat the Rams, they slowed down a Rams offense that has been playing pretty well all season with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams.
Cooper Kupp has not been Cooper Kupp.
Well, Stafford's been
I was going to say,
Stafford is coming back.
Has not been playing.
Stafford is coming back this week. Because we had...
They haven't played... I thought Stafford played 2 weeks ago.
He didn't play last week.
I think he played the week
Or were they
before.
on bye? Where were they? Or they were in Green Bay last week, and then or they were on bye the week before that? Or were they on bye this week?
I think he got hurt, and then they were on a bye.
They were on bye. They were on bye this week. They played the Packers
and
in week 9. No, he did not play that game. But they lost.
That's why it feels like he's been out for a while. Okay, never mind.
Or they won.
Poverty. I don't know. I don't know my ball.
I don't know my ball. Then they played the Packers. They played some... Yeah, they played the Packers that game with Brett Rippon as the quarterback.
Kimmy.
They lost that. They lost against Dallas. They lost against Pittsburgh. They've lost 3 straight games, the Rams, and they're playing Seattle this week, a division opponent at home, and they already beat them in week 1. So
If
they do have a
Stafford's
chance.
coming back, then.
Stafford is back, and they have a chance to sweep Seattle.
What does Stafford do? He broke his thumb, right?
Some with his thumb, some with his hand. I don't know, but I just know he's coming back this week. But if they sweep Seattle, they have a chance to
What are they?
not take the division, but
What's their record?
I believe they're like 4-6 right now or something like that. I think they're 4-6 because they beat Seattle, but they lost to the Niners week 2. They did beat Arizona, so because they played Seattle and Arizona back to back. So if they win the next 2 games, they've swept Seattle and they've swept Arizona. They'll be 4-1 in the division.
Yeah.
Then if they beat the Niners.
I don't think they're going to sneak one against the Niners, though. I feel like.
Because the next game is at San Francisco, week 18.
Oh, it's the last game of the year.
Last game of the year for them, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that game could be very important.
But the Steelers going forward, if they make the playoffs, they should just, I don't know, be awarded everything in the world because I don't even know how they're going to get there. 6-3, they're looking really good. I'm not going to lie. At 6-3, that's a good record to have right now.
It's a very good
It's
record.
a top record in the
And
AFC.
They already had their bye week too, so.
And they had their bye. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if the defense can hold up. We'll see if Matt Canada can get the offense clicking on all cylinders. Get Pickens more involved. Hopefully,
He needs to get Pickens more involved. He's just
Pickens needs to get more involved.
Pickens
definitely.
is a freak in nature, and I feel like it's just like the Seahawks. Like they're utilizing DK Metcalf because he's just a freak athlete.
Yep.
And that took a while to develop.
Well, that's like AJ Brown. Same thing. Why do you think AJ Brown's been absolutely dominant? Like he should have been this dominant since he's entered the league.
Yeah.
Because he's that physically, of a physical force.
Because when he first went to the Titans, Tannehill wasn't as bad as he was this year.
No, his rookie year with Tannehill was great.
He was pretty good, and his sophomore year.
Sophomore year.
His junior
year was not great.
It wasn't great.
Tannehill was hurt and everything was
just
bad, and then he got traded to the Eagles.
Some fresh air, a urinal cake, and some Doritos.
Pretty much, and then signed a huge deal with them.
And
dominated last year, goes to the Super Bowl, and then
made me very happy.
Even more dominating this year. Didn't even think that could happen.
Thanks.
Sorry. But then on to the Packers. Same thing. Packers.
You know what? I would like it a lot more if I had him in fantasy, but I don't.
I don't have him either. I'm just like to gloat about him because I love him so much. He's a great dude. AJ Brown.
Yeah, you met him?
Yeah. Met him personally. We're homies, yeah. I have him on speed dial. Want to talk to him? Want me to call him? Likes to talk shit about the Cowboys and the Giants all the time.
Oh, no, stop. I would talk shit about the Cowboys with AJ Brown, but as soon as you brought up the Giants,
100%.
I'd leave.
No, I talk shit about the Cowboys, yeah. No, we can leave the Giants out of it. They get enough shit talked about them all the time. So the Packers, on the other hand, of this game, the Lions are probably not running away with the division, but they still have the Vikings that they got to play twice, and the Vikings have a positive record right now with Josh
Dobbs,
the Pastronaut.
He has been absurd.
Flies in on a Wednesday, doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know the teammates that he has on the team, goes to Atlanta and beats Atlanta.
A comeback victory.
The comeback victory.
Coming off the bench, too.
Off the bench from an injury. Wasn't even supposed to play. Not take a snap. Comes in and wins.
The rookie got concussed, right?
Mm-hmm. Comes in and wins. And then what does Kevin O'Connell do? Starts him the next week against the Saints.
And he cooks.
Cooks
him.
Along with T.J. Hockenstein, who is now the number 1 tight end pretty much on all fantasy platforms and yards and touchdowns because he had a huge game.
I am a huge supporter of the Josh Dobbs story.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to see him doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate the Vikings.
The Pastronaut. Yeah, you want to shit on the Vikings a little more?
Nah,
we can shit on the Vikings, too.
I don't want to shit on the Vikings.
Shout out Mojo.
There's nothing.
Shout out Mojo.
The Jordan Addison legacy.
Dude, Jordan Addison, a great receiver. They nailed that pick. They nailed that pick. 100%. He's held it down since Jefferson's been out.
If they could extend him, the best thing the Vikings can do is extend Kirk to have him kind of oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a brain fart right now. Kind of mentor Josh Dobbs, and then Dobbs can become the starter, and then they could extend Addison and have Jefferson and Addison.
Where's Kirk going?
What?
Where's Kirk at?
Where's Kirk? I said they have to extend Kirk to mentor Dobbs.
Gotcha.
Because I like how Dobbs is looking. Not saying Kirk's a very good quarterback.
He's a very good
He's a
quarterback.
very good quarterback.
He's been able to deal the ball out to all three
but it
of his
depends on his injury.
playmakers.
If he comes back with his injury,
Yeah, the Achilles. That's not a fun one.
like with the thing about how bad the Vikings are lying is having someone as mobile as Josh Dobbs, and he's a tank too. Like he runs through people. He fits that scheme very.
I'm pretty sure he's
well.
only behind Lamar in quarterback rushing yards on the season.
What about touchdowns? Because he's got a lot.
Touchdowns, he might be leading that into. No, Hurts I think has that.
Tush push.
The tush push, baby. Hurts definitely has that. I think Hurts is already up to like 8 or 9 rushing touchdowns by now, which is crazy. Like he had like 13 last year. He actually might break it.
Dobbs' play style fits the Viking scheme very well, and it's been showing.
They're 6-4. They go on I'm pretty sure they have a late bye. I don't think they've been on bye yet.
No.
And they're still behind the Lions. The Lions are coming. The Lions just came off their bye, but they look hot.
Coach of the year.
Dan Campbell obviously should be coach of the year, 100%. Yeah, it's really between him, Nick Sirianni for the Eagles because they got the best record right now in the NFC, and that's really it. Who else would you really consider?
Mike Tomlin, if he could lead the Steelers to the playoffs.
Dan Campbell, though, a new coach 2 years ago, people didn't really, it felt like a very unorthodox pick. Rowdy guy comes in, doesn't have a great first season. Then last year, they started off. They started off like 1-7 last year.
Yeah.
And then they finished 7-7 or 8 and something. 8 and.
They almost made the playoffs.
They finished. I forgot what they finished.
8-9. No,
9-8.
They just missed the playoffs.
They just missed the playoffs. They finished 9-8. They eliminated the Packers from making it last year. Yeah. They went on a tear at the end of the season last year. Their defense was a joke in the first half and then looked like a top 10 defense at the back half. And the offense was clicking, and it went right into this year.
Right. Dan Campbell deserves that.
And we could just talk about, the Lions are just they're so fun to watch. Dan Campbell has those boys ready to fucking run through a brick wall every single week. Jared Goff should be getting MVP recognition because he's leading that team.
Jared Goff is.
That offense is disgusting. It really is.
They're really good.
You got Amon-Ra right now.
They got studs everywhere at every position.
Who has damn near put up 100 yards in every game this season, almost. He scored again, another 10-catch game. Sam Laporta. I just want to talk about Sam Laporta.
Your husband.
I love Sam Laporta so much. He's on like all my fantasy teams. I just love him every week. He has been an absolute stud. Him and Dalton Kincaid. We talked about Kincaid earlier. Sam Laporta, they nailed that draft pick 100% because now when Goff is looking to throw to either Amon-Ra or Jameson Williams, who's now back from suspension. Josh Reynolds as underrated as a third wide receiver they got, and I know that they traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones at the deadline from the Browns, so they got 4 really good wide receivers. I
didn't know they got DPJ.
Yeah, at the trade deadline.
Really good pickup.
And then if all 4 of them can't get the ball, guess who's getting it? Sam Laporta, who's wide open every time, the rookie. Or let's talk about the best running duo in football. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie. Now, I know I'm saying Jahmyr Gibbs, right? And I know that some people in fantasy
let's hear it.
Don't want to really hear that name right now because they've either traded him away too early because they were waiting on the breakout.
He's directly talking about me, by the way.
You and a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there.
Looked at me before
because,
you
dude, you don't understand how many people would text me prior to his breakout and would say, I just can't do it anymore. I was told he was going to be good in the offseason. I drafted him early, spent the pick on him, and he hasn't done anything. And they've traded him away, and now they regret everything they've done. And they should. Because he's been electric the last 3 weeks. And now off the bye, 2 touchdowns last week, over 120 total yards on the ground and through the air. It's been a godsend. And then you have Montgomery when he's healthy. He's taking the goal line work, and he's able to he put up 100 and something yards on the ground yesterday.
30 carries a game.
Exactly. He gets the rock 30 times. You got Jahmyr out of the backfield. You got Laporta running around. You got all the receivers running around. Amon-Ra, the sun god.
Yeah.
And then Jared Goff.
Aiden Hutchinson leading that defense.
And then the defense has just been lights out.
Aiden Hutchinson is always a sleeper pick for defensive player
Aiden Hutchinson is in the conversation, definitely, along with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, and Aiden Hutchinson. I think those are the 4 guys that are in that
every year
finalist category right now.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson is just a fucking
Maybe
animal.
you can even say Daniil Hunter
Was he
because
the first pick overall?
Who?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Second.
Second.
Trayvon Walker
Trayvon Walker was the first pick.
was the first pick. The first pick that never gets talked about ever. You never hear his name ever.
I didn't even know he was the first pick.
Yeah, I think they did that because they wanted Hutchinson to go to Detroit because he's from Michigan. He played for Michigan, and now he's in Michigan, his home state.
That doesn't make sense. I wouldn't pick the worst player just because this guy wants to play in his hometown.
I just think it fell that way. You don't even hear anything about Trayvon Walker.
No, isn't he on the Jags?
Yeah.
He hasn't been doing well.
You don't hear his name ever.
No.
Yeah. But then you got Dan Campbell who picked his fucking boy, Aiden Hutchinson, was in the category was a finalist for DPOY. I would even throw in maybe Daniil Hunter even in that category because he is leading the league in sacks right now with 11, and they are a big reason why the Vikings are positive again at 6-4 because the Vikings defense has stepped up in a big way.
Very big.
Very big. And Daniil Hunter should be getting some flowers there, leading the league in sacks and doing well. But the Lions are insane, and they really have an easy schedule coming up, and they're home for a lot of those games or even in a dome, and the Lions in a dome are not a team you want to play.
No.
They're insane. And then on the other side of the game, you have the Chargers, who a lot of people have just mixed emotions about the Chargers. What do you I want to hear your opinion on the Chargers as a whole. I want your take on Justin Herbert. I want your take on the offense. I want your take on the coach.
I forgot the coach's name, but my friend's a Chargers fan, so I text him all the time about this. I think the coach is a bit of a clown. I don't like how aggressive he plays because a lot of the times it ends up screwing him over.
Mm-hmm.
It's high risk, high reward. Sometimes it works out and they do very well, but always going for it on 4th down if they're. I don't like that. I think Austin Eckler, as a football player, is overrated. Great fan.
As a whole football player, he's overrated.
As a fan, he's one of the best players to have in fantasy by far. But I think a lot of people take his fantasy value and apply it to his real life value.
Mm-hmm.
I don't if you watch the guy play, he just gets force fed all the time. He doesn't really.
Yeah.
He doesn't break huge runs. He doesn't.
Well, not this year. He hasn't.
He has in the past.
100%. That's why he's been good.
Yeah, for fantasy.
But I mean, listen, it's a running back.
You
get your couple
25,
years.
30 carries a game and 10 receptions.
Well, that's how I look at Derrick Henry. When you get the ball 30 times a game at that size, I mean, anyone could do that.
But Derrick Henry doesn't catch passes either.
Well, so I'm saying, listen, I like to think of McCaffrey and Eckler in the similar sense, but now that McCaffrey has gone to the Niners. Now, I could talk about this
when
because...
When you ask me to talk about running backs, I think of people like Pacheco.
Yeah, that's a pure runner.
Running backs.
Yeah,
Nick
that's a pure
Chubb,
runner.
Josh Jacobs,
well,
for the most part.
I know we've had this argument a few times because I don't Eckler is not your pure running back. I mean, he's a small. He's also a small dude, right? But he's yoked.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a yoked dude, and
he
catches passes.
I just like I said, I'm not saying he's a bad running back. He's obviously a good running back, but it's just I don't like how people take his fantasy value and apply it to the real life football.
Yeah, no, he gets force fed a lot. And he does score a lot of touchdowns. I mean, you can't argue with it. I mean, the last 2 years
he plays his role very well.
He's leading everybody in touchdowns over the last 3 years. He scored 40 touchdowns in the last 2 years, combined. It's insane. Yeah. I get what you're saying though, but I like to put him more in with McCaffrey, and I could say this because I've been a Panthers fan. I was there when he was drafted. Watching him dominate. All right, back again after another technical difficulties. But we got some breaking news while we were there. For the 9th fucking time, I swear to God, with this shit. All right, I hope our mics are on. I hope the camera's rolling. I hope we're all good to go. I
think we're all good to go.
Anyway, we got some breaking news that just happened. The Bills fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Done. Out after that disappointing performance last night again.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
You don't like that? You don't like that move?
It's confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they're just looking for a spark.
They're trying to do what they can to make sure Josh Allen stops throwing 3 interceptions a game.
All these picks and fumbles.
And
I got you. Fucking camera and everything going wrong. Everything's a mess.
It's all right. We're good. We're fine.
We're good? We're all right.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're just looking for a spark in the organization
I don't know about
as a
firing
whole.
I don't know about firing the OC. Cause,
Firing the OC.
Could work out. Could
I
not.
mean, it is what it is. I don't know. Joe Brady is taking over as the offensive coordinator.
I need to see how, because the Bills for me are always just like a weird space between like a top 5 team and just a super inconsistent like middle of the road team.
A super inconsistent juggernaut that should be, but
Yeah,
it just is
like
not.
it's weird because they'll make the playoffs. Like they'll have a couple games here and there. They'll
Will
win.
they though?
What?
Will they make the playoffs? They've lost 4 out of 6. They're 5-5.
Yeah, but they're the Bills still. So
What are we thinking? 6, 7 seed? Then
yeah, I'm not gonna say they're not gonna be a top seed like they were in the past, but they'll definitely get in. Like who are they competing with? Like the Chiefs.
well, they still got to win their division.
They could still get in without winning the division.
Yeah, I know, but like they've already beat the Dolphins, so I guess they already got
That's
a
what I
leg
mean.
up.
It's just like
But they lost to the Patriots.
the Jets
and
aren't
the
gonna,
Jets.
the Jets aren't going to win the division.
If the Jets beat the Bills, and then they beat the Dolphins next week. If the Jets win the next 2 games, they will be in the division lead. They would have swept Buffalo.
I don't think they're going to win the division.
Okay.
They can. Anyone can, besides the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots can.
But that's a first.
Actually, they really can't because they already got swept by Miami.
Yeah.
But, I mean, speaking of now intern coaches, I mean, we could just roll right into the Raiders with their interim coach. That Sunday Night Football game. 2 games in a row. They've cooked New York, both teams. They had their little Super Bowl against the Giants. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but they did. Josh Jacobs and Max Crosby and the boys were smoking that gas, that za.
That Max Crosby video would always be funny to me.
After the game, the whole team got hyped, and then they even beat the Jets on Sunday Night Football.
I think Zach Wilson's playing pretty well.
I was saying the same thing. I think that he's
He's definitely improved from the last 2 years.
100%. Not that there was much he can go down. Doesn't really?
Yeah,
he can only go up from where he was.
The only way is up from rock bottom. But
yeah, but definitely he looks serviceable.
He looks like he's doing pretty well.
I mean, Garrett Wilson's putting up the numbers to prove it. If anyone needs any stats to back up what Zach Wilson's doing.
Yeah, the thing about Zach Wilson is that it's kind of like the similar thing with Josh Allen. Like he'll play well, but he'll just have like a couple really questionable drives a game that will end up being the make or break decision.
And the Jets have had a tough schedule this year.
Yeah,
they've played some really good teams,
and the Bills have a much better offense than the Jets.
Yeah, and they have to play the Bills and Dolphins twice a year. They played Dallas, Kansas City, Philly.
That was beat Kansas. They should have beat
L.A. They played the Chargers. They just played the Raiders. They still have to play Atlanta, Houston, Washington, Cleveland going forward. But they played a lot of good quarterbacks, and Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, Patty Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and Herbert. And now they still have to play Tua. They got to play C.J. Stroud. They got to play Sam Howell, and then they got to go at Cleveland against. It's going to be 2 great defenses playing against each other. I mean, that game might end 6-3. But I mean, Garrett Wilson the last 4 games, 8 for 90 against Philly, 7 for 100 against the Giants, 7 for 80 against the Chargers, and 9 for 93 against Vegas. So he's putting up.
That's Garrett Wilson.
That's Garrett Wilson.
Okay. You just said Wilson. I thought you were talking about Zach.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Horrible.
If that was Zach, then I mean they might
pitiful.
not. They'd probably have won. They would win 1 game the entire year, if that.
Oh.
Well, Breece Hall is also doing really well.
Hall's a beast.
Between Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, the offense looks serviceable behind Zach Wilson, but with the coaching of Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers, obviously, the mentor on the sideline, while he comes back from his Achilles injury. And
Yeah, he might be coming back soon.
well, I was just about to ask you that. When do you think he returns?
I think he
we're
only
in
comes
week
back
11.
if the Jets have a serious playoff push. Like, if the Jets... You said if the Jets win these next 2 games, they're going to be in pretty good shape to win the division.
They would be in very good shape to win the division.
Then he'll come back. Then he'll force a comeback. But if they lose... say they lose, like, 3 of the next 4, I don't think he will.
Yeah, because think about it. So the Jets right now, I believe, are 4-5 or 5-5 or something like that. But the Bills are 5-5.
They play the Bills next?
Who?
The Jets. Who do the Jets play? Who are the next 2 games?
The Jets play the Bills and the Dolphins.
Yes. Okay, that's what
And if the Jets win 2 straight, the Bills go to below 500.
And they sweep the Bills.
And then they play Miami. They win their first game against Miami, and Miami drops 2 in a row. And so the Jets would now be above Buffalo and tied with Miami, or in like record-wise, something like that, or Miami would be ahead by a game. But they would be in serious contention to win the division if they won the next 2 games, 100%. Especially if the Dolphins somehow lose to the Raiders.
I mean, it's
this
possible.
Weekend.
I don't know. Like, I like how Zach Wilson's been playing, but I don't think he's consistent enough to win these next 2 games.
Yeah.
He could shock
Listen,
me.
as long
he's
as
been proving a lot of people wrong the last couple of weeks.
100%.
So I'm not gonna like sit here and be like Zach Wilson's a bust. He sucks, because he very well could have the games he needs to. But
the defense is keeping them in contention, and definitely. Zach Wilson is doing enough to keep them at bay for right now. But
they also have a lot of O-line injuries.
Yeah. And then I guess the final thing we could really talk about on the weekend is Kyler Murray made a return this weekend.
He looked pretty good, too.
He looked very well. I mean, I just can't get that play out of my mind where it was like, I think it was 3rd and 10, and he ran about 40 yards back. The entire defense is chasing him. Scampered, the little guy, and just was running sideline to sideline and got the first down.
It's like a Saquon game,
It's
300
ridiculous.
yards on the ground going left to right, but 10 forward.
It was supposed to only be a 10-yard play, and he made it about a 100-yard play, and he still got the first down. And they won the game in his first game back at home. He had a rushing touchdown. He had a passing touchdown.
Now, do you think the Cardinals should keep him at QB, or do you think they should try to move on?
It depends on how the draft shakes up right now, because...
Do you think if the Cardinals get a top 3 pick, they should go Marvin Harrison or a quarterback?
If they don't have the first pick... See, it all depends on what the Bears want to do with Justin Fields. If they sign him, they draft Marvin Harrison.
Draft a quarterback.
But who, the Bears?
Yeah.
Then they would have to sign Fields to a big deal and then draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
That would be ideal, but I don't know, because with the Cardinals, they need everything.
Because the Cardinals really can't get the first pick. I mean, they just won, so now the Panthers and the Bears are. The Panthers pick that is now the Bears pick. That's the one right now, because Panthers only have 1 win this season. Mm-hmm. Cardinals have 2, so I think they're in the second or tied with the Bears. I'm pretty sure the Bears have 3 wins now, so they're at the 3rd spot.
Yeah, they just beat the Panthers.
Yeah, so it's Bears, Bears, Cardinals, Bears, and then the Giants.
Now. The Giants dropped to 2. I'm pretty sure. I think they're 2 or 3 right
now. It's probably the Bears, Cardinals, Giants, Bears. See, that's not good for the Bears, because now the actual Bears pick is their 4th. So they're not even in contention for Caleb or Marvin Harrison at this point.
Why not?
They're going they're both going to be gone in the top 3 picks.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So they would only be able to get 1 at that point.
Do you think if you're the Bears, you trade the picks?
You get a lot for them.
Get anything they need with those 2 picks.
Even if they had back-to-back picks, first and second pick, in my opinion, they should sign Justin Fields to a big deal, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 1, and trade that second pick for multiple first rounders, because everyone's going to want Caleb Williams. Whether it's Arizona moving on from Kyler, the Giants moving on from Danny Dimes and want Caleb, or even the Patriots, who are going to be at that bottom pick. They have 2 wins. They're down there too at that slot.
I don't know if the Cardinals do that. I mean, Kyler looks good, so
I think he looked great.
I feel like I should stay away from quarterbacks.
And it was a good weekend of football, and now we move on into Week 11, And I think we're going to wrap up this first episode of the Say It With Your Chest podcast.
And we will see you Friday after Thursday Night Football.
Friday? I don't know when we'll see you. We haven't decided that part. But you'll see us at some point this week. You'll see us at some point this week. And that's it. Adios, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.